Video B for data visualization group assignment. Group members are Jesse Sodia, Neha, Pallav, Sandeep and Sri. CO2 emissions trend. This graph shows the total CO2 emissions in KT. The interesting fact is that there is a sharp increase in CO2 emissions from 2003. Also, there is a 44% increase in the CO2 emissions in the period 1996 to 2010, with average year-on-year increase of 3%. Let's look at the further drill down. CO2 emissions region trend. This graph gives the breakup and trend of total CO2 emissions in KT by region: Africa, America, Asia, Europe, Middle East and Oceania. In 1996, America's and Asia's CO2 emissions were almost same. In 2003, Asia overtook America's. Europe remained flat throughout. Also, CO2 emissions in Africa, Middle East and Oceania have increased marginally. CO2 emissions countries trend. This graph shows how CO2 emissions are moving for the top 10 countries. In 1996, United States was the highest contributor. In 2006, China overtook United States. And India took over Japan in CO2 emissions. Worldview. This graph represents the countries across the globe in terms of CO2 emissions. The box represents average CO2 emission in KT and the color represents metric ton per capita. Clearly, United States, China and India are the top 3 countries in CO2 emissions, and Qatar the top 10 in metric ton per capita. CO2 emission. This dashboard gives the overall picture of the CO2 emissions in KT. Average CO2 emissions is increasing in Asia and the Middle East, represented in violet, in purple, and the rest of the regions seem to be fairly flat. Asia is the highest contributor, followed by America and Europe. The top 10 countries that contribute to 72% of the total CO2 emissions. 4 countries from Asia are in the top 10, followed by America. CO2 emissions per capita. This dashboard gives the overall picture of CO2 emissions in metric ton per capita. Middle East is the highest contributor, followed by Europe. All regions here are almost flat. Qatar, Kuwait and United Arab Emirates are among the top 3 countries which have the highest CO2 emissions per capita. Top contributors. Now let us look at the various components of CO2 emissions. This graph gives the insight on the top 10 countries. First, let's start with solid fuel. Solid fuel consumption is the highest in China, that is 16%, followed by United States, that is 9%. Moving to liquid fuel consumption, United States has the highest liquid fuel consumption, that is 10%, followed by China, which is 4%. For gaseous fuel consumption, United States again is at the highest with 5% and United Kingdom at 1%. United Kingdom at 1%. For transport, we have United States followed by Japan. Electricity and heat production. United States is the highest again, followed by Japan. In manufacturing, the leader again here is United States, followed by Japan.